my habit is when I wake up, I'm awake. And so I get up. And the first thing I do is put on my glasses, get rid of the pillow that I have around my neck, a U-shape, to help my neck that had injury from a football activity, and put that over. And then my next activity is to kneel down, have some time for prayer. Doesn't take a lot of time. And after I do that, I always make my bed. And because I've always felt like you get something accomplished in the day, that's at least one thing. Have a bed made, I make the bed every day. The next thing I do is I go into the bathroom, comb my hair, wash my face, wash my hands. I would then go from here. I'd pick up the medicine from here, and I'd head into the kitchen. I always have a glass of water by my bed, and I would be carrying it. I'd come here and set down part of the medicine there and part of it over here where I'm going to sit. I would get out the various medicine I have, take my glass, put the medicine, drink it, walk over, put the glass down over here, and I would get my pressure cuff and other things. I would go set that down over here. I would weigh myself, get my book, which I call my brain, get it there, sit and take the vital signs and record that. Well, this is the exercise room. First thing I do is come on. The very first thing I would do is turn the TV on, get that in my pocket, go over and turn the treadmill on, plug it in and turn that on, and then get on the treadmill and get on my way with that. I'd be down here for about 25 minutes. I would check whether the bird feeders need to be refilled out by the balcony. I've identified all of the various types of birds, and I've marked that in a book that has whole lists of birds and pictures of them. And so that basically is going to take care of most of my morning. When I got married, well, that depended on what time in the marriage. When we first got married, I was in graduate school, and I was up and going, and my wife was working as a registered nurse. We were up, and I was in class by 8 o'clock. And I had eaten breakfast. Both of us ate breakfast. She didn't do very well on breakfast, but I did. I needed it. And so I was up to BYU and in school, in graduate school, in the MBA. And so that's went on for a couple of years there. Well, when she passed, one of the differences was that I didn't have as much work to do. She had been sick for quite a while. She'd had a lot of sickness most of her life. And so her last 10 years, she had lung infection. And it depended on where it was, whether she felt good or not. And so if she felt good, I didn't have too much to do because she was up and doing what she needed to do. But if she was sick, I had to be getting things to her, water, making sure she had her medicine, making sure she was taking her vital signs. And I had responsibilities in the house. And so I had to be, I'd really a part-time caretaker. That would be 10 or 12 years before she passed away. As she progressed to before she died, that caretaking was much more intense. And I didn't realize how tired I was until she passed away. And I didn't have all that work to do. And I was reaching the edge of really significant fatigue. The huge disconnect that occurred on her death between us having been together for over 49 years, almost 50 years, was a huge vacancy. And that it was a vacancy of all kinds of nature. We would talk to each other, but she was there. All of a sudden, she was not there. She was gone. House was quiet. Funeral was over. And at that point, I had to decide, all right, how am I going to deal with this? I would wake up and I would expect her to be there. And then all of the memory would come that she's not there. And I would have to go through that every morning as I woke up. I had friends, I kept calls, phone calls, different things, went out to lunch with friends, did things, and started to figure out how I was going to live successfully without my wife. But I found probably, as I described on some of these other things, if you don't know by now, I'm a person of routine and a fair amount of discipline.